So this weekly reset, Bungie made some updates and announcements regarding the power level grind in Destiny 2. I'll go into a bit more details later in the video, but I think the changes are pretty significant improvements to how the game feels to play overall, and actually makes some aspects of the grind a lot more enjoyable. I think what we're seeing is Bungie is taking the feedback and the criticism they've received over the past couple of months, and they're taking the approach of reversing a lot of their decisions back to the way the game was prior to the release of Edge of Fate, which I think is ultimately the right direction Bungie should continue to go in with future updates. This by no means means the game is saved. There's still a lot of changes that need to be made and improvements to the quality of the game overall. And so in this video, I'm going to be going over the changes that Bungie has just announced this weekly reset, as well as some features that Bungie has introduced with Edge of Fate that I would like to see either changed or completely removed. But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Donkey and welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm trying to hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year, so I'd greatly appreciate your support if you hit the subscribe button down below. But let's get into the discussion. So within this week's patch notes, as well as some messages on Destiny 2's Twitter account, Bungie announced that unstable cores will be deprecated as a currency. Over the past couple of months has been a major pain point with the community. It's really difficult to experiment with a lot of the new Armor 3.0 tiered gear, as well as sandbox changes to create crazy builds if you can't even infuse your gear up to level because of how expensive the cost is due to the unstable core economy. And so I think the removal of unstable cores overall is a pretty good thing and is moving things in the right direction, as it allows for more flexibility in infusing my gear and creating a bunch of different builds that I would like to experiment with. Although I do think that Bungie still isn't going far enough with their decision, because they announced that they're just changing the cost of infusion to be some enhancement cores and some glimmer, when I think overall it wouldn't hurt the game at all if infusion just became free. We've gone through many different iterations of infusion in this game, from Destiny 1 all the way through Destiny 2, and I think the best we can do going forward is to just make infusion free. It doesn't really hurt the economy of the game, and a lot of the time when some of these features in the game have a currency cost associated with it, it's not really because it's an in-depth requirement to make the features complete. It's really just a engagement measure. It makes it so you have to put in the time to get the materials so that you can interact with this basic feature that should just be available to everyone no matter how much currency you have. It's just to make engagement go higher. And so I think, although unstable core removal is good for the future health of the game, it still isn't going far enough, because infusion should just be free in the first place. Kitty cats, what you meowing about? Bungie also made some changes to the power level grind, which are pretty good. They made it so that the bonus engram drops you get from the activities can drop as powerful rewards. They also increased the amount of power you get per drop, and they made the UI of the portal a little bit easier to interact with by making it so the modifiers you select with each activity do not impact the power level delta of the activity. So certain difficulties have certain set deltas, like Grandmaster always being -25 and Ultimate always being -30. So this allows the grind to be a little bit easier, so that when you're at those higher levels of power grinding, you don't have to operate at like -50 or 60 just to hit the score threshold to get your powerful rewards. So in the past hour of playing the weekly reset, I've gone up 10 power levels, and I've seen online a couple people having a similar experience where you're able to really quickly progress in the power level now with these recent changes. And so if you are looking to get to max level before Renegades comes out, now is actually a pretty good time to do it. And if you are below 300 power level, there is a free catch up chest that you can collect at the tower, which will bring your power level all the way up, and it gives you a crap ton of unstable cores to fill the gap between now and when unstable cores will be deprecated in a coming update. Now, I think what is important to talk about is what other features need to be either completely reworked or outright removed in the game, and I think the next thing that should go onto the chopping block is the featured gear system. Overall, the featured gear system is a major pain point for a lot of players as well as myself, because it acts as a sort of artificial way to soft sunset the gear we are currently using. Right now, if you have new weapons and armor that was released in Edge of Fate, it has a special blue banner on the gun, which classifies it as a new or featured gear, which gives it a couple of different bonuses. That could be extra damage on your weapons or extra damage resist on your armor. This on paper, you could say is pretty good, but in reality, it makes it so that in the coming expansions, when your gear you're currently using right now is no longer featured or considered new, it will automatically do 10% less damage than what it is currently doing right now. And of course, you know, as a Destiny player, I want to use the new things that release in a new expansion. I don't always want to use my old gear, but the problem is it doesn't feel as though I really have a choice whether I want to use the new gear to come out in future expansions or the old gear I currently have right now, because the guns I have right now are going to do 10% less damage than the guns I will have in the future. And that just doesn't feel very good, because if I choose to use the old gear, maybe because it's my favorite gun, or maybe it's a little bit more optimal for the activity I'm currently playing, I will actually be punished by the game for using the guns I grinded for all those months ago. And so I think the featured gear system really needs to be deprecated so that we can go back to using the guns we want to use whenever we want to use them without feeling punished by the game because I didn't pick up the brand new juicer pulse rifle from the current season. Second, I think the portal needs some more incentives to drive you into different activities within the system. I think the bonus drops being powerful rewards is a good change in this direction, but I'm more so talking about the loot chase in regards to individual activities. Right now, most of the activities in the portal drop the exact same loot. I don't get anything different by grinding Reclaim compared to something like the Inverted Spire Strike. The loot I get is the exact same. And I think that's a major problem because it really incentivizes me to just stick in the same activity that is the most efficient to grind over and over and over again until I get the exact weapon roll or armor stat that I want. There's nothing driving me into these individual activities that isn't more than just a personal preference. And so I think going forward, Bungie should work to make more specific loot that are intrinsic to different activities within the portal. So I think activities like the coil, for example, should be able to drop high-tiered versions of the gear from Season of the Wish. And the expedition activities from Plunder should be able to drop Plunder gear. And Reclaim activities should have their own Reclaim specific loot that if I want to chase, I can go play Reclaim. Because right now, there's nothing driving me into individual activities to grind them, other than that one may be more efficient than the other. So to sum this video up, I think the changes Bungie made with this weekly reset, that being the announcement of the deprecation of unstable cores, and the changes to the power leveling grind to make it a significantly faster and easier, are changes that are in the general right direction, even if it doesn't go far enough, in some aspects. And I think the featured gear system should be the next thing to go on the chopping block, and that in the larger grand scheme of things, Bungie should work to rework the portal as a quick play menu and to give certain activities within the portal specific loot and reasons to grind those activities in particular, because right now there's nothing really driving me into any of those activities outside of the basic general power grind, and once that's over, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing in these activities. But that's all for me, guys, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. If you enjoyed the video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the like button. But that's all for me, and peace out.